about how to follow and interact during this webinar. The webinar is recorded, so if you don't want to be filmed, you can keep the video camera off. Recording of the webinar will be available on the ETF website, along with the speaker slides and additional background documentations. You'll find all references in the chat. About microphone and video camera, please, during the entire webinar, keep your microphone on mute. You can keep the video camera on or off as you wish. But you know, it is always nice for speakers and everyone to see and feel the human connection between the screens. About interaction, you can make questions or add comments to the chat whenever you want. We are going to collect all the questions that will be addressed to the speakers and will be answered during the webinar, at the end of each intervention, and also at the end during the questions and answers session. Now I will leave the floor to Lida Kita from ETF for a presentation of this initiative. Please, Lida.
Good morning, everybody, and I would like to invite our manager, Yorgos Sisomos, to open it, and then we will continue with the technical developments of this webinar. Thank you, Yorgos, for joining us, and welcome to greet all the members and all the participants.
Thank you, Lida, and good morning to everybody. Such a pleasure to see familiar faces, but so many people enrolled in this session under ENE network, the ETF network for excellence. I'm really proud of the work that is happening under this network. Last week we had a similar discussion for green skills and the role of digitalization, and there was a big community connected. Today we have this one on social inclusion and sharing innovation in social inclusion. So that's great news. At the same time, under the network, you know that we're working also in the areas of digitalization, entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial role of centers of vocational excellence. And before that, we have done significant work on work-based learning and on the autonomy of centers of vocational excellence. So the idea here is to try to look at excellence from different dimensions, and that's why this group has been created, to look at how you achieve excellence in the logic of a process, in the logic of a center of vocational excellence, using technologies for inclusion. We cannot think of a center of vocational excellence without inclusion, in fact. And we're hoping that based on this discussion and on the learning that will happen through this discussion, through the examples that will be presented, examples from different countries, that there will be ideas that will steer the policy for InVet in general. So we're not aiming just for good vet schools or centers of excellence, but we're aiming eventually to have this transmission of excellence to the vet system. That is the aim. And that's why we feel that excellence can also be inclusive. So looking forward to this discussion, I would like to thank colleagues who have been involved in this. Lida, of course, as coordinator for this sub-initiative. But Jose Manuel, who is the content coordinator for the whole network of vocational excellence, but also colleagues who contribute, like Ina, who is here with us today, Loretta, but also other colleagues in the background that you will not meet today, but they of course contribute. Thank you also today to all of you who are attending the event today. For us, this is a peer learning activity. We provide knowledge and we get knowledge. We get knowledge from you, and we're hoping that this exchange will lead into better vet systems. So nice to see you all. Thank you for connecting. I see already more than 70 people with us today. So this is already a big gathering. Looking forward to this discussion. Lida.
Thank you very much, Yorgos, for this introduction, which it gives open the floor to this network. And just to remind everybody, this network facilitated by ETF has 11 permanent members that have accepted to be part and to share their experiences, their developments, and because they are accompanied also by the policymakers, the ministries or the organizations under which they fall on, also the policies that are developed in the countries. So you will have the fact sheet for the ones that don't know who are the members and what experiences we are going through. With this peer learning, we will have only 4 because we have 13 members. We can't have it for all of them, but at different levels, we will give the possibilities of all the centers of vet excellence that have joined the social inclusion to share their policies, their practices, and to open up their system. Now, I will close it here because the floor is of the ones that are doing the work. We are here to listen. We are here to be informed what's happening in the countries through these experiences, to get involved with them. And we will say also that if you want to link up with each other, Erasmus is one of the key elements and programs, EU programs, that you can link with each other, network for follow-up work at all levels, being it policy, practicing, training within your networks. We want to inspire. And this, we have chosen some of these cases to inspire you for what's happening. And in most of these inspiring cases, they are not elitist cases. You can find yourself and realize that you are doing it. You are already doing it, but you can do it better by linking with each other and learning from each other. And also it's to learn and to deepen for a follow-up, being it through Erasmus or ETF support for thematic teams, because we see inclusiveness not in the narrow sense, but inclusiveness for us, it's everything. So please, you are welcome to put any questions after we will have the first case in this peer learning from the Israeli colleagues, and they will present themselves. But we would encourage you to put questions, to send your also any query. We have given the emails there where you can want to be connected with ETF team for follow-up and engaging you more, because we want to hear from all of you what you are doing in your systems. Thank you very much. And the floor now is to the real doers of this work. Thank you.
Okay, thank Lida. Just a few words about the agenda of today. Today's webinar is focused on how technologies could help social inclusion in education and work. And this webinar will try to answer 3 questions that are the 3 topics of this webinar. The first one is how do we teach global citizenship and solve social challenges using metaverse? This first team will be developed by Lev Berman and his team of Amal Center. The second question will be how can virtual reality become a tool for inclusion? And this will be addressed by Centro San Viator, by Ainoa de la Cruz and Alfredo Garmendia. And last but not least, the third question, the third topics will be, how do we strengthen the position of people who are on the sidelines of labor market with technology? So we're using technology. This will be done by Mark Klosterman of VDAB from Belgium. I leave the floor to Lev, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So exciting and to great be here and to open with I think this thing. Actually, I think a little bit spoke about it in half a year ago, how great and innovative it could be to just to share our practices, our success story, but maybe more interesting, our challenges and questions. So I see here some familiar names and faces. Big pleasure. My name is Lev Berman. I am head of entrepreneurial and innovative center in Peres High Tech School in Tel Aviv. It's part of Amal School Network, Israel. And today I will share my presentation in one moment. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Sorry, just a second. We'll do it again. Yes. So, and today we're going to present you our new, actually developing project called Peacemakers and Now Diplomacy Initiative. Some of you already familiar with our other project, more related to high-tech business or startup development. But today we think we're going to speak about from our heart, you know, and not from our pockets. So metaverse and social inclusion is what is connect them, or is it going to work? Because as you will see in a few minutes, part or technological part of our project is actually metaverse, based also on metaverse technologies, and probably with buzzword as AI, artificial intelligence. Most of us listening last year too much, and most of us, I don't sure we really understand. I'm actually one of it. Especially before we got some opportunity. I'm not coming, I'm an educator, social innovator, but I'm not coming from tech specializations. So before I got opportunity, I will soon talk about, I go a little bit deeper. What is metaverse? I think I knew as some people, it's probably something about with glasses, VR glasses, or maybe Mark Zuckerberg, because Facebook became Meta. And it's some kind of what children do things. So is it important to us with technology or some other new technology? First of all, what is it? I'm not going to do, of course, a course about it. I believe some of you think you know, some of you feel not comfortable, but not exactly. I just will say, I think my personal opinion, nobody know exactly what is metaverse today, because as I understand, it's not really exist. It's concept that actually we are designing and creating it these days. In easy way, I understand metaverse is a future internet. In the moment that actually the data, the data and everything we have today in the screens of phones and computers will come to our outside, our real life. And what we're going to do about it, it's in our hands. We can only imagine or design. And if it could be helpful for social inclusion and our social questions, this is what we're asking ourselves too. So let me represent what is Peacemakers Initiative. Actually, this is 3 different components we're connecting together because we see it's going to work well. First, this is conflict resolution educational methodology that we're developing, of course, based on a lot of theories and books that we can use our teachers and our colleagues in our classes and schools. Second, in some point, we understand that we can try to use some innovative technologies to do it better. So you exactly will see not the answers, but questions. And as Lida said, we will happy very much to your questions, to your critics too, because we're looking if it's really necessary. And we're asking how we can create additional value from it. And the last one is actually the curriculum. It's a long-term 1 or 2 years course in global citizenship and digital diplomacy, what we are developing in these days. And of course, in practical way, we're running it in our classes and do our conclusions. So the short 3-year story of the project. Actually, I think most of us 3 years ago, 2 years ago, COVID time was great time to, to sit home and to think what we are missing. So I think in one discussion with my colleagues, we said we do a lot of great projects, business incubators, technological education, young startup promotions, but we miss something more related to values. We're not sure that our students that they are becoming probably very ready to become leaders in a global work markets. But we're not sure that we educate them to be responsible and awareness citizenship and to have tools how to change social life. So we start in this way, just probably to think or to dream about what we can do or what we can add to our business, entrepreneurship, and technological education. And actually, a year plus after this happened, unfortunately, some real event. It was in the moment when Russia invaded Ukraine. And somehow it's touched, I believe, everybody of us, me very personal, our team members that we will see and meet here, our students, especially because in our school and center, there is big groups of Ukrainian students and teachers, or from Ukraine, I mean, students and teachers from Russia, and it was very personal. So in this moment, actually better, let's see exactly, maybe you remember, almost little more than 1 year, we did some meeting in this forum, and it was like this. So just let's see few seconds what happened to us a year ago.
A few weeks ago, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I was very confused. The next day, we dedicated 2 hours to this topic. I had no clue how to conduct this lesson. After 3 experimental lessons, integrating adaptive leadership and expressive supportive therapy approaches, we obtained more understanding how to maintain it.
Я уехала из Киева 25 числа, после того, как снаряд упал в дом через улицу от моего.
All people shocked, were panicking. My friend from Kharkov is very disappointed because his university was destroyed yesterday.
My friends in all cities right now, it's scared and shocked.
It is really scary, and hopefully no more people will have to die.
I feel
So just a second, I think the presentation will come back. Yes. And yes, I think the real life make us push it to to take our plans and ideas to practice. We just start to probably in some way for ourselves, to support ourselves, to do our global entrepreneur our global citizenship program in some practice way. We start to do, and in the doing, to look what projects we can do. As you saw, we looking for connections with Ukraine students and partners. And we also said for ourselves, we're not going to deal only with war conflicts. So this is actually was the second point. And the last point, this summer, actually, Ministry of Education of Israel has its innovation department. It's called the Research and Development Department. And each year we're using, including also strategy of open innovation, and invite schools and other institutes to be partners in looking for new solutions, how we can use technologies, how we can create new educational approaches. And this year, we suggest, it's called laboratories. We suggest laboratory for metaverse. And this point give us to think maybe metaverse would be useful also for our program. We apply, we accept it, and we start to, you actually, I will show you also probably, or later, we recruit team of game designers, of programmers, coders, to think, to look what kind of technological solution can support to bring value for our concepts. So from this moment, now we will shortly introduce you each component, and what I think our main purpose is discussion. So the first component is conflict resolution methodology. Actually, I would like to ask you, is anybody know this picture? Or maybe you recognize the painter. Any ideas? I'm not sure I can see you, but if you can, I believe you can write in chat or can ask you, give your voice. It's okay. We like interaction. So yes, you probably say no, or probably you say I don't know. You also maybe also put attention. Sorry for this picture. Okay, let's start from this picture. Is anybody know? So yes, all these pictures I used in this presentation is going to be created by artificial intelligence. When I give the name of a picture, it's actually created yesterday night, and you are the first people who see the picture, and it's created by a topic. Topic was social inclusion, but it also was given by name of famous, painter who are kind of could use the inspiration for the style. So if you would like to guess who is the inspiration, which painter inspiration it was inspiration for first picture, what you see now, I will tell you it's Botticelli. Also, and so I now can, if you would like to ask this question by yourself. I don't going to lose more time about it, but yeah, this actually was Dali. Also, the topic was conflict resolutions, and so we develop our first component is a methodology for conflict resolution. So we shortly create 5-step methodology that could be run in classes. For few lessons, 5 lessons, short or long modules. Our purpose was to give to teachers opportunity to integrate in way classes and courses, history, citizenship, English, or other options to do some role play simulation process about social conflicts. So we deal with first step is values and ideologies, because it's usually very important and people don't really go to it. With emotions, we choose 3 different strategies what could be helpful to solve conflicts. and the really process of its management. You can see it soon in the second part of technological solutions. So yes, and our purpose of this component, actually, it was first component was to promote peace education. We called it peace literacy, and to help to our students and to all our society to solve or to reduce the hostility and conflicts, also in interpersonal level, in social, and ever in global level. So the second component, and now we're going to speak technologies, is deal exactly in our experimenting, and there is here in Zoom and also in class, actually almost all our team, and I think we have incredible right. Thank you for supporting also Ministry of Education. As you know, as usual, school team suddenly to become real startup, but we looking how we develop new technology that's going to use our teachers. And the main, I think, very important players, usually I don't really see in Google and Microsoft. We have a lot of connections with, I think, main big and small technological corporatives, with teachers, students. They are team leaders together with professionals from technological part. So our shortly technological component deal actually is a game or simulation board where each group of students became represent some part or one group of conflict. And so they get each part of the board and they can put their claims, their suggestions, interests, ideologies, needs on the board built in some physical also by use physical principles in a goal to reflect the balance in the conflict. In this way, but each claim get some weight and some weight. It became more heavy in the situation with other groups doesn't accept it, don't like it. It became in the red zone if this claim is also the group who bring this claim not really flexible, not really ready to discuss about it. And it became much lighter if other sides accept your claim. So after each round, you can see the balance. What is, for this moment of the game, is a situation of a conflict resolution. Sorry, we're now going to there. Also, we integrate some algorithm. In the future is going to be AI that give, we call it a dashboard, but for each side of students, a group of students who represent one of sides of conflicts, they can give or manage actually the negotiation and give scores. To put their rating to different claims, suggestions, interest of each side. And in this way, it gives a lot of information and data and ability actually to also to big group of students. We create a solution that can be run by one class, so 30 students can participate in same simulation, and each student will get specific role. And also it can run, of course, between two classes. For example, we can invite our students to play or to work together on solve some conflict with some of your students from Italy, Spain, or any other countries. So this is one of the unique values of metaverse. And of course, I can see it could be also a very infographical, clear, and so on. So now, before we go for last component, Anat, I would like to give invite Anat, is our actually school teacher for history and citizenship. She one of actually persons who developed the first scenario for our test drive, let's call it a simulation we're going to run in with school in 2 weeks. And our purpose that each is going to be fun tool for teachers, that we can take 1 or 2 hours and create a scenario for topic or conflict, what is relevant for this class. It could be from history, from real life, or from class life. So, Anat, can you please share your experience of with? Yeah, actually, I can close it. Yeah, what how you see it? What is for you? Please.
Okay, so hello everybody. So my name is Anat, and me and Shuki, another teacher, we teach history, and I teach citizenship, and we teach also all kinds of history and philosophical from the Israeli and Jewish content. So we thought about what we can choose that is really related to the students' life right now, and also to be very comfortable for this pilot to just try this platform. And with all what's going on in Israel now, we decided, we thought about dealing with what's happening now in Israel and the conflict now inside of Israel and the dilemmas inside of Israel. And we thought about making more specific. So we decided to deal with the dilemma about the law about military service in Israel. And in Israel, it's a big conflict that runs for years now between the religious and that not everyone gets in the army, but everyone in Israel have to go to the army. So now they want to try to build a law that will be more specific about it. So we decide to take this for this dilemma and to choose the four groups, the religious group, the ones that go to the army but not religious, or religious too but go to the army, the one who doesn't go to the army itself, and the states, the Israel.
Anat? Yeah, we can be together. So I am not sure if it's all participants familiar very deep with our situation, but maybe I ask you a question. As a school teacher, you invited and you volunteered to be partner to develop this scenario, and there is experiment. Why? What do you think as a teacher of history or citizenship you need this, this platform, or what is your fantasy? Yeah, because probably you do it from some interest.
Yeah, I don't agree to every suggestion that Lev asked me. So for this, I wanted to be a part of it, because this is what we do for a lot. Anyway, we deal with conflicts, we deal with dilemmas in our life. And also if I teach history, so I can take a dilemma from history, and I do it all the time. And what I found interesting in this platform is to give it a real situation and to feel it and to really be inside of it. And I imagine, and I will tell you after I will try it, but I imagine that all students that will participate will be actually inside the dilemma as it can engage, but in their mind and physical, because it's physical, because it's very live. I hope and I want it to be very live and physical for them in their experience and their involvement and engagement in this. So this is the purpose, and I think it can work.
Yes, I think, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And, what is beautiful and difficult in, I think, in entrepreneurship and innovations, we can't know. And we already, in our way, we do a lot of tests and sorry, battery issue here. And it's some of it it's going to work, some of it no, and this is beautiful because we will in this way discover what we can change. So now, right? I understand we have more 10 minutes or less.
About 10 minutes.
Sorry, more
about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, fantastic. So I wonder, because next part we would like to present is actually the last one is our year curriculum for global citizenship and digital diplomacy. But maybe this is actually the break from technology to to long course. And maybe if somebody would like to ask question or to give, it's maybe a good moment for stop for any, to proceed everything. A lot of information, I believe, we already give here. I can also show you that actually here sitting, you can see now the team, students, teachers who are very active, not active. This is the members who develop all this thing. Some of them actually in Zoom too. And yeah, so maybe anybody from the participants would like to give any reaction, ask. It's okay, because we have a lot. I can share before I continue that it's in theory. Yes.
We have a question, but shall we? We have a question for a colleague from Morocco, Naip Hamouti, but we can collect them later, whatever the way you want to handle it.
Okay. So let's do like this. We will finish our presentation.
Okay.
Please, please feel it's give, I think, for us and also for everybody here to discuss our learning process with some special taste, if it could be based on, on our fault. So, well, I will finish our presentation. And now, what do you think? It's difficult. The picture, again, the author is the AI, the picture generator, but it's the name of the name was the global citizenship, but who is which painter was taken as a inspiration? It's very difficult. It was Goya somehow. And now I would like to invite I think Sofa, right? If you hear, please open your microphone and to give your voice. Now we invite actually 2 professional educational designers to be partners to develop our 1 or 2 year course for global citizenship. And I just want to say that we start to deal with, as I said before, 1.5 years ago, and actually next year in our school this became a specialization. But this is other story. So Sofa, are you here?
Yeah, thank you, Lev. I will continue from that. Okay, so happy to be here. What I would like to tell you about the program. We believe that it is very important to provide a comprehensive education in the field of social interaction, activism, inclusiveness, and we actually want our teenagers to not just become leaders, as it is provided by many others educational programs, but we want to form a strong habit for them to actively solve the problems and social challenges that they face now and will definitely face in the future. And in order to make it happen, we are now designing an educational program which should help teenagers develop their agency and start taking action towards social problems that influence their lives and lives of others. And we believe that while studying various social contexts, our students will learn to approach different situations and problems via intergroup collaboration, deep research, arts and performance, and of course, digital communication. So in order to achieve this ambitious goal, we decided to build up 1 year curriculum, which consists of 4 modules. Lev, could you please show the next slide if you have? Okay, thanks. So the proposed curriculum has a spiral structure, which provides a deep dive into the theme of social interaction, and thus we believe our students will obtain strong ability to communicate about social issues with different audiences and using different tools of impact. Each module addresses different social topic, includes teamwork, and provides space for research, different and sometimes conflicting social groups, their interests, their ways of communication, and as well, it provides space for participants to get to know their own interests and ways to express them. This program is going to be as flexible as it is possible. So any of the modules can successfully be taught separately or can be taught as a part of a bigger curriculum. And initially, the program is planned to be 1 year long, but it can easily be extended up to 2 years. And what are we doing now with all of these? Lev, please, next slide. Now we are running a pilot module on digital communication with high school students, and all of them, as well as these program developers, are new immigrants who came to Israel from Ukraine, from Belarus, from Russia, mainly, but not only because of the war. And for the students, participation to this pilot program will help to become more involved into current social environment and to feel more included and to start finding ways to make their impact in the new place they live. We're also working on collaboration projects which allow us to test our methods in different cultural environments. And to acquire ways of teaching teenagers how to communicate about social issues with people from different backgrounds and different circumstances. Today's collaborations are with the schools in Ukraine and in Serbia. And last but not the least, as a result of all this big work, we are preparing a set of learning materials which can be of use to any person or to any institution looking for tools of teaching in the field of global citizenship. So we will be more than happy to share our work and to collaborate on the topic. So please contact us if you're interested. And my part is now over. Thank you, and thank you, Lev.
So thank you very much. So now I would like to give stage for last actually a few minutes. Maybe I will say a few last words before. Second, I will change camera. One moment. Yes, now you can see me. So I would like to invite Gregory, who also the mentor and teacher in school and mentor in this actually global citizenship and diplomacy program, and also Nadezhda or Nadia, who actually one of our first students, I think, who joined this program. So please share your thoughts, experience, or inspire us.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, we're happy to be here. We're happy to be a part of such an excellent project. This is just a dream come true. Well, I, as many other students here, have been living in Israel for a year, moving, like many of my compatriots, from Russia, Ukraine, to Israel since the beginning of the political crisis. And we are inclusive in that sense, in that respect. And for us, one of the objectives is to integrate into, new life. But this is not the only thing. I also think that inclusion today is about being connected to our common future. A lot of people think of themselves as either humanitarians or like they're in humanities, in marketing, in PR, others in writing the code, creating metaverse, building robots. And education don't always follow the same pace as the world that is rapidly developing technologically and otherwise and socially. So for us, it is important to be connected, to be attached to our common future, and not think that what the metaverse. Well, the metaverse is the business of some computer guys, or social things, the business of some humanitarian scholars. So it is real inclusion when we can master all these areas of knowledge, not just for the knowledge's sake, but for the sake of our common future. Building, empowering young people and making them understand that it's in their hands. It's for them to build and to decide. And I think the best thing I could do without any slides is to give floor to Nadezhda. We've been working a lot on constructing a program for schools so that kids or students can be more environmentally aware and environmentally active. So, Nadezhda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nadia. Currently, I'm in the 10th grade and I'm 16 years old. Originally, I'm from Russia and I came to Israel just recently with my family last summer, as well as many other students. We're like in the same situation. We just came here. It's a new country, new language, new people, and not all of us speak Hebrew, so it's even harder. But together we have a desire to change the world for the better. So we are trying to find some tools that can help us, and with the help of Grigori, we're developing a program. We chose an ecosphere for this, and it is going to affect to increase the interest and hence to increase the awareness and a behavior of people. And I think it's very important for all of us to combine some social skills and some like IT skills, programming skills, because our program, we're changing the behavior from marketing through like some social science, through communication. And I think that the success is actually to combine both, and it's important to know it and to actually do it in practice to combine it. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Nadezhda. Thank you, Lev, and thank everyone for listening to this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Nadia and Gregory. So I think our time is come to its end. So I just want to summarize that we tried today to show you how we try to, in organizational level, to get involved actually official institutions, ministry, community groups, students, teachers, integrate technology, citizenship, conflict resolutions topics, to try to also to use new technologies and connect all these parts together to create, I think, innovative, but more important, meaningful, social, the important things in education that we, as I started, we sometimes feel it's missing. So thank you very much for listening. And I think this is a great place to give place for, you said maybe there is some questions or discussion.
Yes.
We're here.
It's the question from Najib, and you can see also on the screen. It's a great project. Congratulations. Please, what are the technical requirements which are necessary to realize something similar? Skills, infrastructure. And then we have another question from Miriam, whom you know, because we all met in San Sebastian, all the members, and it's from Georgia. And Miriam is asking, when will other schools be able to take advantage of this game? Thank you.
So yes, if I understand right, the question. Yes, we now we're running the test version of the platform, metaverse platform, and also of curriculum. And we're planning, of course, not of course, but we're planning to share it. We also to self-use of some schools, organizations, but it's probably more important. I see already that there is it's called no-code, low-code tools that probably for people who are not technological, it's look like very scary. Oh, I ever not going to open it, but it's became in some level more and more user friendly. So we will happy to share our tools. But the beautiful thing that I believe as we do, actually, we got some budget from ministry, and thank you, but it's not so good. And I think actually there is more, it's also example, but maybe, with school from other place, we'll create a version of simulation for something, for social inclusion, for example, yeah? And so we also can be the forum who inspire each other to create more and more technical solutions. Yeah.
Thank you, Lev. We have also, which is very important, and I mentioned at the beginning, we have the Israeli Erasmus office and in Bar, and she says, thank you, Lev, fascinating project. If anyone interested, and that's the call of ETF tool, in collaborating with Israeli organization, we invite you to sign up to the Israeli Erasmus Partner Search, and you can create all your ideas from all the other countries too, Lev, and they can give you to have a joint program under Erasmus. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lev, and to your team. It's been really very interesting and enriching and stimulating. Now, for the next step of this webinar is about virtual reality and inclusion. And for this, I leave the floor to Ainoa and Alfredo. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity of being here today.
Okay, so my name is Ainoa de la Cruz. I work in Centro San Viator, developing different trainings for people with fewer opportunity, especially for people with intellectual disabilities.
And I am Alfredo Garmendia, and well, I'm the head of the International Department School. Okay. Well, we both work for Centro San Viator. That is a small school in a rural area in the north of Spain, in the Basque Country. And we provide, we provide all kinds of education except for university. We provide education in kindergarten, primary education, compulsory secondary, and vocational educational training in the levels 1, 3, and 5. Okay, today we are here to talk about the virtual reality as a tool for inclusion.
Yes, it's a new methodology, and we have this opportunity to present you our project because we are involved in GIF project. GIF project is a COBE about social inclusion, and for us it's a big pleasure to present you our COBE. Yes?
Okay. Well, virtual reality. For most of us, when we think about virtual reality, we think about, me personally, I thought about PlayStation and gaming and so on. And even though for many of us, it seems that it's something rather new, it is not so new. It was in the 80s when Jaron Lanier well, popularized the term, okay? And well, as you all more or less know, well, is the use of computer modeling and simulation that enables a person to interact with artificial three-dimensional virtual or other sensory environment. Well, okay, this is the definition. It's very clear. We all have the image of the Googles or Gloves, or something like that, to use virtual reality, which is different to augmented reality. We don't work with augmented reality because for us it is too expensive. We cannot afford.
But probably the key question is how a vet school started working on this kind of projects.
Yes, so we are going to explain our transition, the transition from Centro San Viator to use virtual reality as a day-to-day tool.
The answer to my question is very easy, because approximately in 2014, we started thinking about how we can offer to our students with intellectual disabilities and a specific training program in order to improve their employability.
Yes, we have always worked with people with intellectual disabilities, but the training that we were providing was not formal. There was not official recognition. It is true that we started working with them in vet areas and started training them to get them ready to work in foster employment, but we wanted to go further.
Yes, we wanted to offer them an opportunity to get a job, but not the typical job that usually you can find for people with intellectual disabilities. We wanted to help them to get a salary in order to offer them better quality, life quality.
Yes, we have always aimed to be an inclusive school, something that is very complicated. That's also why we are part of COVE. And we always say that we want to give our students the opportunity to reach to their maximum. And we realized that we were not doing it. And not only our students, also to other people who are already working and they need kind of qualification.
Yeah. We started more or less in 2007 to offer to all of our students with intellectual disability the opportunity to go abroad using the Erasmus Plus grant. So this new methodology is a second step in our process. Yeah.
Inclusion process. Okay. Yeah. So we made our own research to see how we could train this profile of students and to get an official certifications. So we finalized, we finally decided that the professional certificates, certificados de profesionalidad, were the right tool to provide them this training. Okay, these professional certificates are directly linked to the Europass certificate supplements that most of us work with.
So the problem we faced was we cannot change the content of the curriculum. So the curricula is the same for all kinds of students, but we trying to adapt the methodology in order to get new training for people with intellectual disabilities. Was a very, very big challenge.
Yes, and we have very clear that we are vet providers, we're a vet school, and we wanted to offer them technical training in new fields. Okay, not only gardening that we were doing so far. So as we said, we have that challenge. And
here's David, yeah, one of our students. Yes, currently he is working in a warehouse. Yes, in a very big company, getting a nice salary, and we are very proud of him.
Yes, we work directly. We work hand by hand with the companies. Okay, so at that time, it was 2015. We knew that the companies were looking for people to work in warehouses. So we thought that if we trained people in this area, it would be reasonable, easy to help them to find a proper job with a proper contract.
Mm-hmm.
So we created a new training, mixing two professional certificates, level 1, that is auxiliary activities in retail and warehouse auxiliary activities, both of them because they need them both.
Yeah, in order to clarify this training, we always add some competences about social labor, yes, issues, because things that you cannot imagine are very important for those guys. For example, they have to work with us before the technical training, how they have to face different challenges that they are going to facing when they are in a company, inside a company. For example, the relationship with the boss or the relationship with other workers, or something like what can I do when I have a problem with a colleague in the company? So before the technical training, we always offer them a specific training about key competencies.
Okay. So the challenge well, the first part was easy for us, but the challenge was, how can we do this technical training in a safe way? Okay? Because they have to learn how to use, for example, forklifts. And well, we didn't know very well how to do it. Now we were talking to our trainers to decide the best methodology, but well, all of them saw some difficulties and challenges. So, as I said, we work with quite a lot of different companies. We work, for example, with a company called Vivacar that they produce forklifts. And in a dialogue with a company, a software company called Ludus, that at that time they were not producing educational software. In fact, the very first time we reached them, they say that it was not an interesting field for them. But as a kind of favor, they accept to collaborate with us and with Vivacar. So we asked them to create a specific program for a forklift. And Vivacar gave us a real forklift, the cabin, the cockpit, and our teachers from the school, our technicians, adapted that first forklift to have a big screen so that the teacher and other students could see what was happening. Oops. Went too fast. So we started with the training.
Yeah, and of course, this new methodology, because in 2015, in beta schools, nobody used virtual reality with people with intellectual disabilities. It was very, very strange. Probably we were the first that started working on this.
At least in our region, they were the first. I mean, there were other kind of programs for other students, but for us it was piloting. It was new, and in our.
I remember the first time that I was talking with my students, all of them with intellectual disabilities, and we offered them the possibility to use the virtual reality in this technical training about the warehouse, and all of them were, come on, it's possible. Yes, of course, don't worry. They were a little bit afraid because they didn't know exactly what virtual reality was. And I explained them, okay, I'm going to explain you in a very, very easy way. The virtual reality is like a PlayStation, you know, yes. All of you, you love PlayStation, of course. Yes, of course. So we are going to introduce the PlayStation in all the classrooms, and we will be able to learn in a very, very easy way. So for them was like a party the first day that they were using the virtual reality. It was a great experience for all of them.
Well, the benefits are big, are very big. First, it improves the access to knowledge for young people with fewer opportunity who come from vulnerable groups, because, well, up to then, in our region, there were not specific this kind of training adapted for them.
In this point, I want to add something, because you have to realize that usually young people with intellectual disabilities, they don't have high self-esteem. So usually they think in the very first moment that they cannot do. I don't feel comfortable studying or trying to get more knowledge about something. So when you offer them this kind of tool, you are taking care of their self-esteem, and it's something very important when you are developing a specific training, technical training for this group.
Okay. We also saw that, and it proved that it increases the employability of young people by improving the chances of accessing the labor market, and also, of course, self-esteem. It favors the learning of technical skills as well as soft skills to the cooperative and collaborative work, because, well, when they do this training, they do it inside a room, So they are all the rest of the students are also watching what they are doing. They're not working individually. I mean, they are driving individually, but all the rest are watching it at the same time. Okay? It enhances the motivation of young people and consequently it reduces disruptive behaviors in the classroom and school absenteeism because they love it.
Yes.
It favors the inclusion of young people with disabilities by reducing barriers and favoring the development of their capacities. That is also very clear. And well, from the other point of view, now we know that the zero waste is very important. That is very helpful. Obviously, it is cheaper to have these tools than the forklifts, and it avoids many other risks. And because safety is very important.
And since we are using this tool, the answer of the companies is amazing. The results are very, very good, and some of them, most of them, get a contract. So that is our goal, our principal goal is that. So
okay. So these are real pictures of our students. There you can see the forklift, the first version, that was the beta version. And nowadays the Ludus, well, Ludus sold this, the patent of this. Nowadays you can buy this device, but it is not exactly like that because this was made by our own staff. Okay. So you can see that there is a screen so that the trainer can give indications to the students.
after this first experience, we have checked this tool, for example, with people with mental illness, and the results are also very, very good. We had to incorporate some new adaptations because the tiempo de respuesta, the time that people with mental illness need to give you an answer usually is very high. So we did some change, but the results are also very good.
I myself tested the very first versions of this program. At the beginning, it was the Googles we had were not very good, and it was a bit like getting drunk or something like that. It was.
They take a lot of medicines, so for that reason they need more time to give some answers. And as you can see in this photo, please, yes, this one, yes. When one of the students are using the virtual reality, yes, the rest are watching at the same time the exercise that the student is doing. So you can incorporate some suggestions or some solutions. For example, in this case, that guy, he was very, very afraid with this tool, and the rest of the group was trying to support them, to encourage them to do the exercise.
Okay. Well, once it proved that it worked very well, we continued working with this company to develop other software, okay? Because also part of the training, for example, is the risk prevention. And part of the risk prevention is, for example, is what you are watching here, is the CPR. So again, we collaborated with them to develop the backgrounds, environments. And well, again, it proved a very good tool for our students to learn.
And it's very fun.
It's sort of fun. And well, nowadays we also have, for example, painting. That is an image from the software, or welding. Okay, because well, proves that it's a very good tool, not only for people with intellectual disabilities or mental illness, for any students. So now it is part of our training. Is the tools that we use to train all kind of students. And then we have well, after doing this, what else? Well, we are actually, for example, working project called Creative Teaching through virtual reality, where we are gathering kind of free software that we have been able to find, because, well, you know, the virtual reality is not always cheap. And so far we have been able to afford it because we have to develop all these programs, but we need to go further. We need to introduce this into the classroom, and we also need our staff, our trainers, to develop their own ones. Okay, so that's our objective. No, not buying is okay. In some we can buy and purchase some.
Am სათვალით და იქ ხელით რაღაცა манипуляციებს აკეთებს.
We can afford to buy some of the.
მართავს პროგრამა შიგნით.
We have two speakers now.
Close micros.
Next speaker.
Close micros, please. Thank
so
you.
Our aim is now that our trainers can be able to develop their own backgrounds, their own environments, because, well, this can be used in day-to-day, in the daily teaching with all the subjects.
Here you have our emails, and of course, we invite you to write us if you need something, and to check the GIFT project website, because in that project, in the cover, we are developing a lot of amazing things
For inclusion.
For inclusion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
There is a question. Can I address now, or you think, because we have a question from Samantha Tuburcio saying, this is such an amazing project that definitely filled out a gap that was greatly needed. Is there an informal or formal vocational test you do to help the students figure out what kind of program they choose?
Well, the trainings that we offer, we feel we offer training companies. We directly work with companies that they want to upskill or reskill their employees with intellectual disabilities. Many times they don't have a certificate and a recognized certification of their training. So they
get a certificate, but it's not an official
certification. In that case, they already know what they want to do. And when we are working with our own students, the trainees that are already with us, the first thing is that they spend some time with us checking the different technical fields that we offer, and then they choose. Well, they choose together with us. I mean, we see their strengths and their skills and capabilities, because we will say that we want them to reach to their maximum, but we also want them to be realistic.
Yes, for example, now we offer to all our students with intellectual disabilities different professional certificates, for example, in gardening field, or in metal engineer, or even in electricity. And the last certificate that we have got is about digitalization. Digitalization, yes. Because we are all the time trying to check the needs that the companies have. Yes.
Thank you very much. There is a last question for myself, very quickly, because how do you see you made it possible to change the mindset of the employers? Because we know that all groups have, or if you haven't, or what are your quick wins? And if you haven't, what reflections you have that we can also share with the others? Thanks.
Well, we have continuous communication with employers, okay? Yes. And we are very lucky because we have a very strong network. And fortunately, we have companies that, well, for example, we work quite a lot with IKEA.
And with Decathlon.
With Decathlon, and they already have that into the ENE. Okay? the inclusion, and they are very helpful. In fact, when we want to pilot something, we always use them.
Yes, yes.
And then from there, we work also with the smaller companies, trying to explain them the benefits of employing these people that, in general, they are very good employees.
Yes, they have a lot of skills, you know, because when you try to include a person with intellectual disabilities in an ordinary company, of course, you are going to faces a lot of difficulties. But the first time probably is the most difficult, but after that,
yeah, once you open the door, it is easier. But it is true that the first time is not so easy, and we spend a lot of time talking to them.
And to be honest, a lot of companies don't want to talk with us about this program, of course.
So thanks a million, because your example also shows and reinforces what's happening in other countries and in other members, because also all the members that we have in our network, but not just, also the other parts of our ENE network, there is a close cooperation, not only within the system, not different parts of the system from policy making, and but with employers. And we see more and more employers that are very much engaged in all the discussions at the policy level, at also the technical level, how to become more, to take more social responsibility, not only to look at the benefits and the financial economic benefits that they get from the workers, but and we see this big increasement and in numbers, and we learn a lot from them too. So cooperation, interaction, co-working is the key word, and networking. Thanks a million. And,
thank you so much.
And we will meet soon in person, I hope. But thank you very much for all this contribution.
Thanks, Ainhoa. Thanks, Alfredo. Now, last but not least, we have Mark Klosterman with his talk about how do we strengthen the position of people who are on the sidelines of labor market with technology. So it's the perspective of social inclusion in the workplace. So Mark, the floor is yours. I'm going to share the...
Thank you, Marco, for this introduction. And I think it's nice going from what is just mentioned. This is also a story of looking for social responsibility and interaction and co-creation to look for solutions on the labor market. For many, many years, I'm working for VDAB, which is the Flemish Employment Service, which also has over 40 training centers in Flanders, in Belgium. And for many years, I was director and also a program manager to develop centers of excellence in our region. And in that case, I'm the founder and also board member of T2 Campus, where I'm now for the moment. And I'm also a board member of EFTA, the European Vocational Training Association. And that's the link why I was asked for this webinar. First time in this network I'm operating, but thank you for this opportunity. As you know, a Flemish employment service is strongly involved in social inclusion and the activation of active but also non-active people to the labor market. And at this time, only 20% of job placements is done by vocational education and training. So we can ask if technology can help by this. We see new opportunities for people with a distance to the labor market, but it is encouraging, but there's also a non-belief, I think, when we are speaking about the tech augmented worker, the employee who is made physically and cognitively stronger by technology and therefore more productive and reliable, it's not obvious that a large group of people find a way to this evaluating labor market. So the question is whether such or other technologies as now are introducing as augmented reality, virtual reality, collaborative robots, and so on, can reduce the distance to the labor market for people with disabilities or disadvantaged groups. So that's a discussion point, even in my organization. So we joined very recently a program and also a Flemish policy to create a living lab program for developing a guidance process with a participative approach. And doing this, as just said, in collaboration with companies and with research centers, which we normally do not do. But now we are working together with research centers, universities, and so on. So I thought for this webinar, let's showcase two projects. One is the Imaginovation project at T2 campus, and the other one is the BOLD project, a guidance program for human capital for adoption industry 4.0, operator assistive technology. And both are are sponsored by European funds. In the next slide, I start with one slogan of Agoria, Network Association of Tech Companies, that is extinguish the labor market with technology, as we think that technology is the only solution for all these problems. Of course, when we have to achieve an employment rate, in Belgium this is 80%, we not only need to get more people working, but we also have to keep workers working. There is need for more retention, even if their production environment is technology attacked. And in most part of Europe, still the manufacturing industry remains very, very important. The dire shortage of talent remains one of the top priorities of companies. And I think that diversity and inclusion is highly underestimated as a solution in this situation. So having workable work, that's the policy that we are keeping in this region in Belgium. We created a Flemish Living Lab, technology for workable work, together with the universities, research centers, and companies. Thinking about how robots and cobots, and that's on the next slide, Marco, arms that stand next to employees and colleagues, the dashboard systems that visualizes, monitors every step in the process, or augmented reality, which helps, for instance, a cleaner by coloring invisible dirt in a clean lab. So many things are happening in very simple work environments, and technology is useful there. So are we changing the cap for the smart glasses? Are we changing the work suits for exoskeletons? And are we now in a robot or cobot evolution or revolution? I think nothing is going too fast, but things are changing. In this context, next slide, please, we are talking about inclusive technology. This is the technology that supports people with a vulnerable labor market position in looking for and finding work or in performing tasks that are evaluating. And this is a very important, inclusive technology is an important element in creating workable work. And I was inspired by some webinars we did in Belgium on this topic. On the next slide, you get an example of a very recent webinar partners of us organized at the beginning of March, called The Revolutionizing of the Workplace, Innovative Tech Solutions for Socially Engaging Work. It was hosted by my colleagues of Flanders Mee, Graf Franken, and Dr. Milou Habrake from the HIVA Institute, both linked to the KU Leuven, University of Leuven in Belgium. You also see on this slide the link to this recorded webinar, which is in English. So this can be very interesting to get the whole concept of what we mean by this workable work approach for inclusive technology. Because workable work means that employees can perform their jobs in good conditions, in a sustainable way, and that they can do this until the end of their career. Because normally we all have to work a little bit longer. Workable work stands for jobs with enough challenge and variety. Moreover, it's work that matches the employee's competence. And it has to be a good work-life balance. So employees who have workable work are more motivated. On the slide, the next slide, you see that there are many indicators of workable work. This is work that does not make you sick or stressed, that motivates, that fascinates, that offers opportunities for reskilling, for skilling, for learning, and work that offers this good work-life balance. But it's not as easy as it all seems, I think, because a lot of people, and we see this also in our training centers, still have what we call techno-stress. What is meant by all those new concepts of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and so this variety of applications in automation and so on. I did a project, Marco, next slide, please, in a bakery. It's far away from baking bread with your hands. It's all machinery, and yeah, you still have to work in manual in this tech environment. So, but that's all because there is a demand of more quality and more productive production. So, is this a good evolution? On the next slide, we see when we have this approach, and we have choose for an approach on the organizational level. There are technologies that reduce cognitive load, physical load, but we think that it's very important that we focus on the human-centered flexible work organization. For instance, to reduce cognitive load, we use technical work instructions, and that's something very interesting also in the learning context, in the learning methodology. And what is coming up now very strongly is the use, for instance, of augmented reality learning environments, even digital twin concepts we are developing at the moment as a trainer. But this is also used in production and machinery training. And then, of course, the collaborative work cells and the use of wearables. To reduce the physical strain, I talked about the exoskeletons, which are becoming very popular, and also the designing of the workplace to personalize this workspace. And that's important to create a human-centered, flexible workplace. We have to design the job so that every individual can work on this place. something that we have integrated now in our training program for production workers. So let's showcase two projects in our region. First one is the T2 campus. We did a big investment in this location, which is now almost 5 years old. And we had the opportunity to do this with the European Fund for Regional Development and the Social Fund, ESF. T2 is a training center, but it's more than a training center or a center of excellence. It's the key word is connecting. We are in T2 connecting young and older people, working and not working people, entrepreneurs, children. It's a mix of all. They create a very interesting space. T2 stands for talent and technology. And this talent is every talent. It's not a center for engineers, it's a center for everybody who has talent and has a dream to do this in a smart environment. So that's the T2 campus in the eastern part of Belgium. And we had the chance to do an image innovation project. This on the next slide. This is a crazy word, but it meant imagine you can innovate. And with this project, we were looking with companies and research centers some years ago, 2016, 2017, what is the education need of tomorrow and how is technology impacting this? Image Innovation wants to create and offer innovative technical training courses to meet the business challenges of today or tomorrow. And we also had this track on innovation in learning. This was before the pandemic, but it was good that we started this track because we were investing in e-learning, in blended learning concepts and learning snacks, short learning projects that can be offered, for instance, online. And it's important to use this learning technology to de-stress also the professional user in a later stadium, because they have this experience with augmented, with smart glasses or with this virtual environments, which will be used in the company later on. In the next slide, you see the investments that we did. On the left side, you see a picture of the campus, which is a part of the former mine region, mining site. But here also, there is also research campus, there is incubation center, there are some companies on the site, and there is a training center and an event place, of course. And we created an environment where people can connect, as you see on the left side in the photos. But in one of the labs, which is on a smart industry, we create, for instance, exercises on teamwork, which is very important. Even if there is technology, people have to work together, not with the machine, but also together as a person to a person. Right of this team board, you see a classic conveyor. This is used in automotive sector. Volvo, Ford, Caterpillar, they all use the same conveyor type. And we built on this conveyor type, as seen on the photograph under, a digital work instruction setup. This is the archive case. And it's completed with a Fanuc cobot as you see on the right above photo. But we also had the opportunity to invest in a fully automatically factory, the smart innovative factory, which are 14 stations with all those new technologies. And that's what we call the demonstrator. We can demonstrate how the whole production line is going with sensor techniques. There is a logistic lineup and so on. It's a very unique product of SMC and is created by the research center in Spain. And on the right side, you see a photograph of jumping child in the tech film. What we also did is creating a breakout room for technology, a breakout room for STEM approach. The children, but it's also possible for adults, they are thinking and creating a smart city. So they have to do some exercise to make a fake city smaller, smarter on mobility, on sustainability, and on smart energy applications. And for instance, by jumping to create more energy. It's one of the hypes at the moment, this TechVille lab. So there are many examples to introduce new technologies. But in the second showcase, we were looking, on the next slide, Marco, we were looking to a pilot, an implementation in the company. Because we did all these investments, now we have to look for the benefits. And we started last year the BOLT project, the Human Capital Guidance Process for the adoption of Industry 4.0 in operator assistive technology. The keyword is adoption. And we do this with European funding, but also with the University of Brussels and the Expertise Center of Data and Society, the Research Center Flanders Make, and the Flemish Employment Service, VDAP. So how can we guide the transition in a way in which everyone is involved and feels involved in this process? And we had to develop a script, a scenario that we can disseminate to other companies. Now we are doing 6 pilot cases. And most of these pilot cases are executed now in social companies, companies where people are working with who are disabled or are low skilled. On the next slide, you get this visualization, but it's in Dutch. But we built up a track in 5 phases, 5 steps of informing, orienting, also doing the feasibility study, evaluating and rolling out the project. But we have to do this, as you see in the middle, for the manager, the engineer, the team leader, and the operator. And this demands a different approach. And therefore, we use different techniques. For instance, the demonstrators, which are used for managing decision-making people, and to showcase what technologies are interesting. Also organizing workshops for employees or masterclasses for the mid-management. And we also have developed last year a longer training course for production worker or operator, which is available for job seekers and offered by the VDAP. So it is important to involve all these employees. The cases that we have are very focused on logistic activities and also production, for instance, in the textile department, stitching, matrix, covers, for instance, where it are all social companies. And there's a big interest in the ergonomics of what is going on. And technology can help in this ergonomic approach. And that's something else than thinking about training competences. It's looking for the story. What are we trying to do here? But what we also concluded is that every time there is a question to coach the basic IT competencies, to work with devices. We all can work with the smartphone and with the tablet, but when it's used in this real environment in the company, it becomes an issue, and we have to coach this. So now we have this roadmap. It's a very added value in the activities, for instance, for VDAB, supporting in job placement, and it's very important for starting up a workplace training. So I conclude my introduction to this theme briefly. I talked about a policy framework, a program of workable work, which has several topics. And one of this is technology that can help to create workable work. And now we are focusing on how people with more distance to the labor market or disabled, how can we help them to hold their job or to get a new job in the make industry. So thank you for your attention. And of course, I'll be here for some comments and questions.
Thanks, Mark, really. It's really very, very interesting. And just a question, just a quick question would be, what is the most difficult challenge to introduce these technologies for social inclusions in companies? So because technology is in itself can be introduced, but to convince entrepreneurs, employers, what is the most difficult challenge for you?
I think that many people still think that there is no need for training or coaching, that production work is simple work and everybody can do this. But when you are introducing technology, you have to de-stress, you have to do something. And I think by showing what is possible, by giving people shortly an experience, yeah, as we see on the other picture, it's very important that they have done something when they start in the company. But on the other side, we see that many big factories are investing very, very much in technology. We were glad to see this also happening in smaller companies, social companies. But in the SMEs, this is not happening as fast as we thought. And that's because it's a big change. It's not an approach on one local workplace. It's impacting the whole company. And we saw also that mostly there is one responsible for change management. So when you have a vision of change management, looking for the future, make your own company future-proof, and looking for new people, you have to invest in not only in machinery, but in people, but in culture, the company culture, and so on. It needs a global approach, and that's something that has to be decided. This is a process that takes time and costs money. And always, when it costs money, training is an issue, the training cost. Now we see that designing workplaces is a very interesting topic, is becoming a very interesting topic, and working together with companies to deliver trained people who have some basic experience in no technology.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, really. Now we have arrived at almost at the end. We have the question and answer session. So we have collected some questions for all the speakers. I would start with a common question for all the speakers, and that would be, we have seen how technologies can enhance social inclusion, but might the complexity of the technology be an obstacle in itself for disadvantaged groups? I mean, could be the technology itself an issue. How can we overcome this this issue? So I make the question starting from Lev. If
well, if you want, we can answer the question.
Okay.
Give our point of view.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, we have to think how to do it properly. In the technology itself, it's been the complexity of technology has been a difficulty for many groups, and we need to adapt it. The same as we need to adapt our training to the needs of the people, wherever needs. Okay, with the technology it happens the same. So is it an obstacle? Sometimes it is, but it has proved to be an excellent tool when we use it properly. We need to make the necessary adaptations, but for any, I mean, my parents are old, and for them going to the bank sometimes is a nightmare, because nowadays there are no people there and they have to use the machines. So we simply need to use the technology because it is very good, but we need adaptations.
Yes, from my point of view, before using this tool, before using technology, especially when we are talking about vulnerable people, we have to offer to all the trainers a specific training about the use of the technology. Yes? Before, technology is something very general, and if you want to offer the amazing opportunities that the technology have, you have to train the trainers before using this tool.
Do you think that it might exist also a psychological barrier? I mean, the fear of you don't know something, and technology, everything that is new can be felt as something difficult. So try to make people easy with technology. I mean, as Lev Berman said at the end of his intervention, the platform and the tool that they created is easy. It's just only the fear of the unknown, of new things.
Obviously it is like that. I mean, first, we had to create consciousness among our trainers. That was the first thing, you know, because also our trainers have been doing things for many years, more or less in the same way. And suddenly we're asking them to use different technology. Of course, I mean, the fear is there, and sometimes it make us not move forward. Okay, and the same is with the students. When we tell them that you're going to use something new that they don't know, for many of them it is scary.
Yes,
Sure.
of course, it's not easy. Yes, but the benefits for not only for the students but also for the trainers is very, very important. So I have that we have to face this new challenge, especially in bed schools.
Yeah, and Marco, what do you think about the technology as a barrier as itself? How do we
Well,
approach this?
For the moment, we are doing the University of Leuven a study about this problem, which do people have some kind of experience? As I said, everybody has an experience with a smartphone, but not in the use working with a machine, for instance. What are the emotions? For the moment, trainees are started yesterday the course for 6 weeks, and none of them has any experience with high technology. But now they come here in this environment where they see everything. But I see this as a playground. Let's do this as a game. Let's co-create something with these trainees. Then you are working on this fear and lack of experience. Here we have, when we are using the DWI, the digital work instruction, we are talking about these instructions and what can we do better. Can we place the camera? Where do we place the box for order picking and so on? So they are making their own workspace. So they are involved, and this is crucial to de-stress some people. And everybody can think about this. And when we worked in this textile firm with disabled people, also mental disabled people, we were working together with an ergotherapist who we was together creating the place where your tablet is positioned, where is your new seat, and so on. So working together, and in training, this is a serious playground, I think.
Thanks, Mark. I'm leaving the floor to Lida. So if you want to make a wrap.
Just a quick reaction, because for all what we heard, and when we talk technology, we look at it, technology and innovation, meaning innovation in how we make policy making, innovation how we have the training, and how we change the system. And Lev, he can speak because he's there, is how much we listen to the young people, to the recipients, to the other side of this education system, and how much we adapt that. In our network, we have other members that we see at that angle, and the upcoming one will be on the 11th of May with all our over the continent in Africa, where they will tell us not necessarily it's the technology that changes the teaching and learning. It's we as human, if we are put at the center, what needs we have, what environment we live, because we don't live all in the same development stages with all the financial support. What we as innovative teachers and learners contribute to this inclusiveness. So I wanted to launch that, and also for you to know how we are looking at these other parts of the system, and all in co-working and co-creation with the learner and the worker in the center of all these developments. Thank you.
Okay. I think that maybe Lev, if you
Yes, we would like Lev and the team and everybody to switch off the on the camera so we can take a picture before we give the floor to our Emmanuel, the team leader of all the initiatives of Centers of Excellence, because also this is very important. We can't see even the sub-themes of Centers of Excellence as separate. They all are part, it's like a book. It's one chapter that you cannot understand if you don't integrate all we do, all we talk about, all we learn from all different sub-themes. They are connected with the human in the center. But Manuel will talk more about that. Lev and everybody, can you turn off the camera so we take a picture, all of us, because you are all contributors. Even if you were not able to talk, everybody, we see you not only as members, but contributors, and also with the follow-up that with all the exchanges and linking up among yourselves, as we said, through the ETF network, but also through the Erasmus, but we can follow. Thank you for putting on the cameras, please. Miriam, give us a smile, our member. Thank you. Now, Manuel, you can, unless there are other questions, but I leave the floor to you to close. And we are looking forward to our African colleagues and members for the 11th of May. Priscilla, and we are looking forward to all your innovative ways for skills for inclusion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope you can hear me very well. And I feel very privileged to close this webinar, which is once again, and thanks to you all, let's say, an example on what we do, on what we want to do for the next year with you. We are currently now 270 members for more than 41 countries, and as Lida said, now even friends from Africa, partners from Africa, and our intention is doing and continue building this beautiful international family, even to make it bigger, but bigger also because today is another example on how networking for vocational excellence at the international level is so rich and so inspiring. We learned a lot, and as Lida said, we are now trying to, let's say, interlink the chapter of this book, because pedagogical innovation for social inclusion is one thing, but also there are pedagogical innovations for green skills and making our COVID greening, and there are pedagogical innovation to teach, you know, the new arrivals and digital arrivals, even in activities or in other sectors that also are, let's say, innovating and introducing these digital solutions. There are pedagogical innovations also for working with adults and develop continuing vocational training micro credentials in some centers. We will also investigate more on that, but it's also work-based learning for social inclusion, which is also part of our program, as Loretta wrote in the chat, in June, date to be confirmed. But there's also work-based learning for greening. This is work-based learning for the other thematic approaches that we work with you in the network for excellence. First of all, I wanted to thank all members again, once again. This session is inspiring. I see a lot of you here for your trust, commitment, and for all members and other partners that are following us constantly. Just to give you also some informations, good news. Social inclusion partnership, we will continue in time. So this is, we are now kind of wrapping up in a session of webinars that also will be about pedagogical innovations, roadmap for social inclusion and work-based learning. But the social inclusion thematic approach in vocational excellence will continue till 2025. So we will meet with you regularly for the next years still here sharing practices with you and learning together. The partnership on green, our famous Greta acronym, Greening Responses for Excellence through Thematic Actions, will have continuation, and we will have continuation also on the partnership on digitalization of teaching and learning, plus entrepreneurial role of vocational excellence centers. So these 4 partnerships will be, let's say, the core of our recipient learning and sharing practices together. We have, just to inform you, 2 big events this year that are important. One also in the calendar, also to bring also policymakers, experts, and also international partners from European Union, but also from our network and beyond. One is important date is 25-26 September is the second European Forum in Vocational Excellence, will be held in Netherlands, and also we will have a dedicated workshop in the 27th September to discuss with our members, also being part of green partnership. We will have another one in Turin that also will combine, let's say, the findings of work we are doing very closely with the Commission. Indeed, is on behalf of the Commission on a service level agreement to strengthening the international dimension of vocational excellence, plus some of the lessons learned that we are working with you from the last 2.5 years. In this respect, also, we are, just to inform you now, closing our doors as much as possible when we don't have to be present in many events and other meetings, just to, let's say, capturing lessons learned in the different partnerships. So we are going to publish soon lessons learned on our partnership on green. We are working on social inclusion. We are working also on digitalization. We are working on entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence. But overall, we are also now working in producing, also many of you have been contacted for interviews in a, let's say, also a document or report that we will try also to bring into the attention on the debates and developments of the international community in vocational excellence. This is one of the main also tasks and challenges that we have internally in our team for this year. So just only to add, thank you very much again. Thank you very much a lot. Amal Center, Lev. It would be for me a dream to visit you one day. I would like to visit also Centro San Viator. It has been a pleasure to meet you, Ainhoa and Alfredo. I thought you were in Madrid, but you are in Bilbao. I promise you next time I will go to Donostia, San Sebastian, I will visit you in Bilbao, please. And also, Mark, I want to say you hello. I think we met last time in Marseille, if I'm not mistaken. It has been a pleasure also to listen your beautiful experience. The 3 practices that you share are fantastic, and I also congratulate you and I thank you very much for this, because indeed our Network for Excellence is very much committed with passion for sharing the best practices that you have and learning together at international level. And this commitment will be unstoppable, because this is our reason for being here. So I want to thank you very much. And from my side, hope to see you soon in the next working sessions. Thank you.
I don't have to say anything more, but I want to really wholeheartedly thank all the members and all of you other partners that are listening to these examples of the members. And as I said, we have very diverse members, and please join us in the upcoming peer learning. But also it would be very beneficial to us if you can take your time, just send some ideas from what you have participated also before in all the others, but also in this one today, how we can make it more lively, more involving. Yes, we present our members. Yes, we put questions, but this is innovation. If you can have some ideas how to make it more beneficial for you, but also for us to learn from you, even if you are not part of the agenda. We can all be part of the agendas by proposing, giving ideas, and then we can come up with other forms of following up. And also I want to thank very much ENE, because we are doing it together with the ETF in partnership, and all the members that have given some great ideas how to run this peer learning. So we miss you all, and it's great to meet in person. We were lucky in San Sebastian, we met all the members, and that was the biggest bond we created, because virtual discussions are great, but there is nothing like the human touch and all the relationship we create when we meet face to face. So we look forward to see you on the 11th, and also in other occasions of what Emmanuel mentioned, but also when you organize in your own countries, and this we would be more than happy to exchange and to participate. And thanks to the whole ETF team too for all the support. Thank you. Thank you, and nice days to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. See you soon. Take care.